Is Matt Campbell's career as head coach of the Iowa State Cyclones now over? We're not sure yet, but several media outlets are saying that Campbell will be leaving Ames. I'm Samantha Mesa. WHO 13 Sports confirmed earlier today that Campbell was in negotiations with Penn State to become the next head coach for the Nittany Lions. WHO 13 Sports Director Keith Murphy has been working the phones all day. What do we know right now?
Well, we know that after a long and winding search, Penn State now wants Matt Campbell to be its next head football coach. Discussions, as you pointed out, started in person last night and negotiations continue today. Now, Campbell would seem to be in a leveraged position to get just about anything he wants. A deal appears imminent, but it's not done, at least that we know. Two Iowa State assistants and several players have told us they don't know any more than we do. They're waiting just like Cyclone fans and just like Nittany Lion fans are. No players meeting scheduled yet that we know of. There's what we know and what we speculate. Campbell is a three-time Big 12 Coach of the Year and the winningest football coach in Iowa State history. Just 4 months ago, Campbell agreed to a contract extension that could keep him at Iowa State through 2032. Of course, that's not how these one-sided deals go most of the time. If a coach wants to leave for another job and the other side's willing to pay the buyout, he can go. Campbell's buyout is a relatively reasonable $2 million. His contract at Iowa State pays him $5 million a year plus incentives. He has deferred money to assistant coaches and NIL. So for now, Matt Campbell remains the head coach at Iowa State, and he is kind of a different guy, but he has not been in touch with his assistants or his players so far today.
So many questions. What makes Penn State desirable for Matt Campbell?
Well, there's a lot to love about the job. Matt Campbell is a Midwestern guy, and though Pennsylvania may not be what you first think of as the Midwest, it's closer to being Midwest than it is Northeastern. It seems like a good fit. Most of all, it's money. It's one of the top 5 or 10 jobs in all of college football. Matt Campbell's money would certainly go up, but more importantly, in this era of college football, the money to pay players would go up significantly. Matt Campbell would have at his disposal NIL money that he just can't have at Iowa State. The resources, as Jamie Pollard has told me in the past, Iowa State can't match what some of these big programs can match. So if Matt Campbell, after 10 years at Iowa State, feels like he wants to make this move, he's going to make it.
More money, more pressure. How much pressure do you think he would face there?
A lot more pressure. I mean, he's got a good situation at Iowa State, but at Penn State, it's national championship or bust. Remember, Penn State's head coach last year took Penn State to within one play of the national championship game and got fired early this season, James Franklin. So there'd be a lot more pressure at Penn State, no doubt.
Well, what arguments could be made for Campbell staying at Iowa State?
Promises made, players that he loves, assistants who are happy. I can't speak for Matt Campbell's happiness in Ames, but it seems like he and his family love being a part of the Ames community. And he's got quite a legacy. 10 years, he's checked more boxes than any football coach in Iowa State history. He's arguably the greatest football coach in Iowa State history. He stays, they build a statue of him. He leaves, fans understand, but they're bitterly disappointed.
Well, a lot of rumors, a lot of chatter online. Do you think he's going to Penn State?
I do. But until I hear that the ink is dry, we'll hold out the possibility that he could change his mind. Sometimes all it takes, as I know, is a phone call from your wife.
Jerry Ann heard that one. Okay. Stay tuned, as we say in news.
Jerry Ann just lost it.
That is ultimately what it comes down to, right? We know who's steering this ship. Thank you.